Yeah, literally what?
I don't Jesus God. My Holy Spirit is very loud.
Come look out here now. That's true. No, that's what I got. As I get it, I was coming to you. They don't like me? Well, what she said is I don't want people I get to get food. They only have that's a mom. I asked if I could get everything that she had. But you know how she would ask for it. Those are the two much. But it's not also no. No, it was something in charge. Ministry. We were just.
Yes, my dear.
Hi.
Okay, good morning, good morning.
I just see me as those actions, but I keep seeing the computer saying sending one of one, and it's not that means I don't have the email was received.
You want to catch everybody. That's the last person.
Then we must do something like that.
Debbie's coming out now.
We can start. What's the other chair? I am okay.
No, I'm good standing on no song to camera to look at everybody.
Can close it.
You should call my name
COLUMN.
Yes.
Look funny.
I don't know where another was coming from. Alright, so are we ready?
Yes.
Alright. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
This meeting is now officially called to order. I am going to invite Mr. Brown to pray for us.
So let's pray. Heavenly Father, the one who made it on earth, we come this morning, dear God, as we proceed into our final records and information management meeting for this quarter. I pray that Lord that you make us do and give understanding as to what we will discuss here for us to understand and be able to respond to the Lord not we have your own to pray, just not in holy name.
Amen. Thank you so much, Mr. Brown, for bringing the presence of the Lord. As you know, everything we do we have to ensure we have
Good
the
morning.
Lord with us.
Good night.
Yes, yes. And it is my awesome pleasure this morning to welcome you to this or Records and Information Management Committee meeting. Want to express thanks for the year. Yes, you've served well for the year, and I want to especially thank Mr. Brown for standing as a worthy vice chair, assistant, leader in records and management, because you really carried this committee for me for the year, so that we can boastfully say we've had over 4 meetings. Did we miss one? We missed last quarter.
Most of the members were on
vacation, including myself. So we want to really just welcome you to this meeting, and I know you will contribute and participate in the meeting and give your views and opinions, so that whatever we have to discuss, looking down on the agenda, quite a bit to get through, but knowing how Mr. Brown has organized himself, I'm sure we will go through smooth. So welcome again. Any apologies
Yes.
for the records?
Lamont is on vacation.
Yes, okay, Mrs. Lamont.
Mr. Jackson, Renard Jackson, he was nominated, he's the newest member, yes, to the committee. I was nominated to represent the events management department. But he's out today and
Duties?
yes.
Okay.
Also Miss Graham, yes, she's also absent.
Yes.
So far, Mr. Johnson.
And Johnson is not at work today.
Yes, and Mr. Henry, who wasn't in office at the time when I called.
Okay. Alright, so apologies for those persons. Alright, let me send this so and so I can open. Everybody would have copies of the things we have to discuss?
Yes.
Alright.
via email.
Yes, via email, but some persons probably didn't get to print and so forth. Everybody have their agenda?
Yes.
They have their agenda and everything? Okay. So, we will move straight into matters to be discussed. Is there anybody on the live stream? Who is on live stream?
Can't tell you the exact
No,
name.
which are the office?
So we would have Trelawney.
Trelawney, so that is Miss Brady, good morning. And we're not sure if Mr. Henry, as it says, will make it. He's out of the office.
Yes.
And we know Johnson is out. And
Celine.
what's
Kingston
up?
office.
Right, Kingston office.
Yes, it was set up for her as well.
Hi, Miss Celine. Oh, Lord have mercy, may I look over that side and look at the camera. Alright, so special welcome to those who have joined us on live stream. And what you can do, I know you can't talk back to us on the live stream, but you probably can WhatsApp us, or when you make notes, and when you're finished, you send in those notes so Mr. Brown can add your contribution to the meeting. Okay, so I think I've covered everyone.
Yes.
Alright? And so we're going to move into the discussion. I wanted to go and get my thing. The first area is the JCDC RIM. What is the RIM again? Good terms of reference. Alright, so Mr. Brown, as usual, Abel is going to just take us through, and we will give, when he reads that section, and if we have anything that we want to take out or, add, we will let him know. Go ahead, sir, start that ball rolling.
Yes, just to say, it was in January, similar that I had a meeting with Jared regarding, because the ministry.
Remind us what is JARD?
Jamaica Archive and Records.
Jamaica Archives
And Records.
and Records.
Jamaica Archive. Yes, department.
Right. Because you know, sometimes we hear the terms, it might not ring a bell, so you can write it down. JARD.
1 second.
JARD.
Yes. There was a request from the ministry. Oh my God. My apology. Miss Coombs, who is from the ministry. Yes, my apology. Miss Coombs from the ministry, she was unable to make it today.
Oh, she's a part of the committee as a part of ministry. I didn't even remember that.
Yes.
And her name is Miss
Janet Coombs.
Coombs. Alright.
Yeah.
Have we met her yet?
Yes.
Yes, she came at the last one.
Oh, right. Which I think I was unable to attend.
Yes.
So that was the reason. Alright, good.
She had made a request for some guidelines to as to how we test our record, because I figure the ministry. Is that something?
The meeting you had with Jared.
Well,
What did you skip over something?
no, it was January. So I'm just saying how I had to have the meeting with Jared. Yes, so the request was from the ministry because I figure they have some challenges with their records management system. They don't have a records management committee and they wanted to develop one. And just to say, of all the ministries, JCDC is one of the few, maybe about 5, that have a records management committee. Yes, and we want to keep that consistent. Yes, because wherever I go and make mention of that person's ask, why if something like that really exists.
Ah, look at
Yes.
that. So we're on the ball.
Yeah, so the request was made and I had to meet with George to provide Ms. Coombs with the relevant information and a term of reference which was shared with me at the meeting, which was absent from the list of documents or records management committee have, and this outlines the as to who can be on the committee, how members are selected.
He said, we didn't get the email.
Yes, I don't know if any of the documents. If any of the documents are too large. Would you mind?
The
Would you
email
want-
was
If you don't
about
have any
meeting
more
minutes.
copies,
No, if you can do, I will have the soft copy. So,
you have it to look
yes,
at?
yes.
Okay, because we're not able
what
to.
I did send. I don't know why the computer.
I'm not seeing it. It hasn't come and refresh the page and I still don't see it. Can't really do that in.
All and the purpose of the records management committee, which is section 1, the governance, responsibility of the committee to the commission, as well as membership. Speaks also about the secretariats of the committee, tenure of the committee as to how long someone can serve, and for us to have a meeting which is the quorum, so we need at least 50%. So I have sent the document. When I go back to my desk, I double check.
Something, it
There was
didn't come at all. I'm not
Something
seeing
on the
it.
computer keeps saying sending one of one that didn't move, so I figure it wasn't sent. Yes. So what I'm requesting is for this document to be shared with the committee members, persons read, review, and then the head of the unit along with the chair of the committee will sign off on it.
Also, TR is not finalized. This is a proposal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
At this point, Ms. Smith and myself had reviewed it. However, the committee needs to review
and
yes,
like verify.
yes, verify. So that's what we are doing. And then this will be shared with HR and be a part of HR, JCDC policies, just to keep going on with that. So that will be shared, and I would appreciate individual person's feedback. I should have sent this maybe a long time ago, but I apologize for that. So 180. Technology. So that's the first thing we're looking at. Next, as it relates to the new index and
classification. Yes.
Sorry, but this is about, I think it's what can help me estimate to find out how many pages are. 100 and something.
Whoa.
Yes. But that document, let me tell you, it took me a while. I have to take it overnight and weekend. It required some expert, some experience.
Oh.
Yes, to develop that document. The index.
Was it generated by you or another thing by the minister?
No, Jard that gave the outline.
Right,
and then
what the
guidelines.
classifications and things are, and then you have to put your stuff
Yes,
in.
yes, for us to match it with what
the
JCDC.
material you will have.
So the 2030 vision is for easy access to one of the visions, easy access to information, and what Jamaica Archive and Records Department wants is that by that time, all the documents that are in the public sector, in the government, have a similar classification, something used to guide as to numbers. So they are trying to divert from the alphanumeric system. Instead of putting the word jar beside a file, there's a specific number that is attached to it that helps to guide as to what class of document that would have been. So the section A speaks about the and dispositions. So for us at JCDC, a lot of consultation with Jard and Estimate and I had met, and that is just about 50% of the document. It's a very large document because it all we have about in our records about say 7,000 records JCDC have now, and I went through all of those records that were created to ensure that every record in the commission is listed among it. But there are some records that are shared in some unit. For example, what's Mr. Bradford's department again? Yes, art development and training, entry forms, mark sheets. Yes, there are documents with those that have the same name, so that is not repeated. There's just an indication, maybe in a different section, that asks persons to use that to guide them to see what is it that their number is. But as it relates to retention, a lot of consultation with Jordan, they did assist. And so, for outside of the application and the functions that we do, there are numbers of records that, for example, audits that Jard gave us the retention period
for that, right?
Yes.
Yes, you can
So finance and accounting, yes, yes. Human resources as well.
Yeah.
Asset management, procurement as well was given by Jard. So it's mainly the function that JCDC carried out that is not among other ministries that we had to fill in. So our application, our mark sheets,
things that other persons don't necessarily.
Our historical records as well. Yes, and our vital records, because it's we who determine how long we want those records to be kept. So the retention, which is section A, outlines all of those. All the documents are listed. Some may not be specific because and precise. Reason being, if I'm supposed to list out all the documents, because some are categorized by class. For example, a document relating to motor vehicle, you may not find specific to our truck or separate from the van. But motor vehicle, both items come under that class, and it's determined as to how long we keep the class for after disposing of the those vehicles.
Question. Alright, so this is being implemented now, so it's going forward for whichever time.
Effective March 1.
April 1.
Oh yes.
April.
Effective April 1. It could have been sent out from about early February, but we want to start it into the new financial year. And it's just the only thing that is left to it is just for JAR to approve it. Which shouldn't be of much of a time.
And that's our classification document that's still being approved.
Yes.
And for example, so this section that says administration, it means that all administrators, not depending on which department you're in, would have these type of files.
No, administration, what's the number there? Remind me please.
1700.
1700, and that speaks to the executive office. That's the only part of JAR that wasn't in it. But they had the executive office is listed in, I think it's 1700 point to the administration speaks to the executive office.
Okay.
So the documents that have been used there that were not listed among those that from the draft that JAR had sent.
Oh, okay.
So the number there, the 1700, we were given approval to add that. So it was 1600 that it had stopped, but we were given
1700.
yes. So there's a list. So the retention, which is the first page, so that's the index you're looking at.
So we have 7,000 documents, but only 1,700 classification numbers.
No. The documents, I'm not as fast as persons when it comes on to using the computer. So there's
the hard copy. Classifications are given, well, a long time in the library, so even before I'm born, right? So
the first, which is section A of the document, section A, speaks of the disposition.
1 second. University of the West Indies offers library studies, you know. When you're doing your first degree, it's in the Faculty of Arts, right? So I have a first degree in arts, majoring in library studies, public administration, international politics. It's like you have your various areas that make up. So you haven't gone to UE yet?
No.
Alright.
Interesting.
Yes, and a number of community colleges and places do library studies.
Just something like that. Same thing with law. So, when you reach law school, you determine what you want to do.
Same thing, gosh, God bless you. So classification, we used to know classification is international.
Yes. Oh.
But then you will have an organization that does something unique that nobody else does. So you have to get a number to be able to classify those things that you do.
Well, I did library studies in high school, and they have this system. What's that system?
That is just to show you.
I know, but I'm just saying it's the same type of index. Or is it a different type of index?
No, it's
similar.
similar.
So that part is the international. Or you list You can go and find a book in any library
based on that.
in the world
Yeah.
because they are first organized maybe by alphabetical order, then you get numbers and stuff like that.
Starting with the retention here, this section A. So we have government strategic and corporate and strategic management, which is the number for that is 100. So that determines the class of document. The first set of numbers determine the class, which is 100. So in that section, it gives a description as to what those documents are. And then in JC, yes, so for example, the report and statistics, planning and goal and objective, and also policies and procedures. So that section speaks about all those type of documents.
So you see like Mrs. Cross, corporate planner, when we put together our strategic management thing and our operational plans and all of those, they would be set.
In this section.
They would be filed and then it determines how long you keep them.
So this document determines how long
you keep. This is what tells you.
So that's the retention schedule.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. How long
and
those
classification is the number you give.
And it also gives verification. So for next is the accounting, which is a 300 series. And it outlines how long documents from accountant general, allowances, audit, banking,
those
budget,
are usually very long.
contracts. Yes.
Long written up to 10 years.
Transfer of funds, salary, taxation. So that section speaks about that.
Because remember now, you may migrate, and in migrating to another country, you get a job, they want some information from your previous employer, something. So that's what HR and certain areas, they have to keep the things for many years. I think in HR they might go up to 30, 40, because you may need the information, so they can't throw them away.
So this is now employment personal files. This is HR, which is 400 now.
What's the retention?
400, and say that reassignment, retirement. Let me just describe the document. It said personal. Employee, surname, first name, middle name, initial, and unique number assigned. It's a case files related to an individual employment in the ministry. Information include matters such as job application, biodata, attendance records, leave pay, benefit training and development. So all those parts of the document, and the retention here says that 30 years. So there is reassign, retirement, termination, 30 years transfer to job plus 30 years before discharge. So commission keep it for 30 years. Then it is transferred to job and another 35 years, that's 75 years. In total, that is, yes. Oh yes, 65.
So again, that's a good question. Just to repeat, so Ms. Austin is asking the numbers that we have here, if the ministry in general would have the same classification numbers.
Yes.
So basically, yes, that's what we want to have, a common scheme across ministries and departments.
That is how the centralizing coming together now.
Yes. Yes.
Transport. Let me go into like. Let me check it. We have some money from marketing. Which marketing?
I hear you say.
Events management.
Yeah, what's about marketing?
Speak also of the security.
Marketing and promotion is
There's a part from this agency that someone who will receive these reports
Yes,
apart
communication.
from Mr. Hutchinson.
Which one is it?
Sir, many of these reports are sent, they are copied to Mr. Hutchinson, and then we get back saying that we have not submitted a report. I'm not sure how regularly, I don't know how to say it, sir. So, unless there is something specific missing from the report that may not have been included in the report that you wanted, I don't know. So, maybe it could be Ms. Nastasio that we copy it to. Yes, sir. That is what I'm saying, they are. It does not come in hard. None of it is sent hard. All right, thank you. That's what I'm asking. Yes. So far. Yes, we can. Yes. All right. All right. But so I will put a system in place that gives. Yes. I can tell you, I'm in a meeting now, sir, when I'm finished. You give me like maybe an hour and a half, I can actually tell you if there's anyone that is outstanding. I'm just finishing the meeting. Yes. Okay, sir. Sorry about that, guys. All right.
So we're pointed to looking at marketing, since we have someone here about marketing. Page 14 there, and their number is 800, and the class is communication and public relations, and they include the exchange of imparting of information within and outside the organization, establishing and maintaining relationship between the organization and its stakeholders, design and executing communication campaign, media interviews, so any document involving those speeches, written speech, and working with the press. Those documents are what are included under communication and public relations. And for those, there are different time periods, but marketing and promotion and graphic communication, those are not listed, as I think I wanted to meet with the individuals who work specifically with that department, so I can grasp the proper information. But just to let the parish officers know, page 23, they were not listed separate from any other department. They don't have a specific series, but they said the department development and training. That's it. Oh yes. That's 24. Community cultural development. CCGS. Yes, that department, because it deals with, each parish deals with the exact thing that other parishes does. And other parishes, the entire commission are internally, they are not listed separately as to what. So each document that they hold, they would have to look to each department to find out the retention for those and how those are created and should be disposed of.
You're talking like if they have anything like HR,
yes,
they would, right, because they keep their own like vacation leave, departmental day. So those things they would have, but they normally send them up at the end of
Yes,
the
they do. But if in a case they should be separate listed, you would have 14 of the same document. I repeat what we have here.
right.
Yes. So they just will have to look towards those departments to find out the retention period for them. Next section, so we are just talking about the
index and
retention. So
we go to is it the audit?
yes. Also we have spoken about
You did retention
yes.
schedule when first you looked at the new index and classification, but then you went to the retention.
Oh, I wasn't finished with the classification.
Right.
So section B, which speaks about the classification, for the numbers. So just as how they have set out in the retention, it's the same class of documents, the same numbers given to them. So corporate and strategic planning, which was number 100. If you want to find a document regarding that. Regarding that, just about the library. Persons who have used the library before, when you look at an index in the library wall, you see the numbers with different numbers, different purpose. So the first set of numbers are the class of documents that determines the department and the class of documents. I know it doesn't separate departments from departments, but what the guideline that George gave us. So, for example, the executive office and strategic and the corporate and strategic management is separated from even though Ms. Foss is a part of the executive office. Her documents, class of documents are separated from what the executive office wants to do. There's another department that has that section as well.
Procurement is separate.
Yes, procurement is separate from corporate services. Office management is separate from HR. So those are separate. So this classification don't separate departments, because if two departments should merge, then you would have a conflict. What it does is separate them by subject areas. Although office management falls under HR, there's a different classification for HR and office management. So
yes, well, because our structure, what happens sometimes across government agencies, the structure of the organization may differ. So in some instances, we may have office management that is operating independent of HR.
Right.
So this scheme, because it's a common scheme across
You have to
MBAs,
take it down.
we have this one structure that everybody works with, even though our organizational structure may be a little different.
yes.
So that is the reason behind it.
So some of the common documentation that I use in the commission, for example, letters, memorandums, minutes, those have a similar number. But what happened that will change that number now is because of the classification, which is the first set of numbers. So strategic, for example, in the corporate and strategic management, their number for a letter would have started with 100. But if you want to find a number in finance and accounting, which is 300, their number, a letter for that starts with 300.
Right. So you first just have to know the classification.
Yes.
That you fall under, the area that you fall under.
Just to repeat myself.
Number and you said the letter, but not get the letter part to the number.
No,
The
everybody does letter, if I understand. Everybody has letter and memo and so on.
Yes.
But each main classifications that we have, like corporate service and executive and so on, they have 100 as their classification. So a letter for corporate exec would start with the 100. But a letter in finance would start with 300 because their classification is 300. That's all?
Yes, and
Class.
HR would have been 400.
100. Marketing, you say, is what? 800.
Yes. So that number,
Index. When you're writing up, this is what the folder or the item sheet.
the folder.
When you're writing up the folder,
When you're writing
that's a
up the
big
folder.
sheet, those big
Yes.
folders.
You will have the number on it. And then don't you get a letter? You're saying yes. But I don't understand the letter part to the
The letter
number.
should mean the physical letter.
A letter, you get
So
a
a letter
letter
written
from
to you from
Mhm.
corporate service as
Mhm.
or whatever as a 100 series. A letter to you from accounts as a 300 series.
So,
So she need the physical
oh, yeah,
letter.
so
like
you get that. Yeah, alright, coming down.
Not
I'm
the
saying,
ABC
not
letter.
I send you a letter. I have to have 300 on it. That's the
No,
number.
no,
no,
when
when
it's
the person gets it
filing,
filed.
that's what I said. Yeah.
Yeah.
The person
From
gets
anywhere,
it.
it's going to be 300.
No.
No.
Take
When
out one of
accounts
the
is,
filing.
look, when accounts is doing their filing,
Yeah.
they're creating their folder. They have to do it under 300 series.
Yeah, because
So when
they're
I go
300.
out to look for any accounts related
It's gonna be
letter, I
200.
have to look on
Oh,
300
Yes.
series.
Oh,
So
alright.
if somebody don't know what the 300 means, there's an index.
That tells
That
you.
yes. So if you notice it shows out in series. Yes. And then from the series, which is the first set of number, from the series then you have the subject areas. So different subject areas, different numbers.
Good morning, sorry to interrupt. May I borrow Miss Forbes, please, for a few minutes?
Yeah, allowed. Just to go
Take that,
through.
please.
So it's the first number, which is the classification number. Then you have the subject area. For example, human resource. Under human resources start with 400, and then you have policies and procedures 400/20. Staff and staff administration and recruitment, that's another subject, 430. Employer relation matters, 440, and it goes on for each different departments.
That's
So,
file number. That
So
would be
it-
on this. That would be the file number.
yes, yes.
Alright, so based on this new classification system, does that mean, seeing that all of us would be going by this now, if it is that we're creating files, it wouldn't be a case now where we have to send to you
No.
because we now
We
have a
know.
set standard of
Yes.
things or we know
Yes.
what's up.
And
So we can just go ahead and write up the numbers
Yes.
based on what you have.
However, there is alternative where a file that is not listed among these that are here. Because to be honest, I really went through all those records. It's a lot to ensure. Excel will allow you to put all the same records together, and then all those that are created. If there's any addition to it, it will be that the individual would have to notify me. I would update the system because it allows you to add beyond the number that you have, and then on an annual basis there will be a review, and then it will be shared again.
Oh.
So once there's a file created that is not listed among it, they allow for review. And just again, this is effective April 1st. Just to make note as well, Jada gave us the go ahead to use it before they review, because more likely what we set is what they will do.
Okay.
It's just the 1700 section that was a little bit of a challenge because that was added to it. But outside of that, all the other departments are good to go. So, Mr. Nick, would you say, we share this with the
Yes.
Yes.
So we'll share with the committee so we can get feedback and make adjustments where necessary before we have it all approved and signed off.
Oh, and next is our project. And this project is for between the end of April to early March. And when was March?
I don't know.
Early May. And this project now is mark sheet and application project. Because among the classification we have here, the library already have copy. At the end of each event, the library, each department capture their information in an index with all the information from the mark sheets, the information.
Department or that's ADT?
Yes, ADT, the different units.
Yeah.
Both for events and for ADT. They capture their information in an index and it is shared with the library. However, these mark sheets, the physical mark sheets, are left in the office. And then what goes on now is that these keep piling up over the years, taking up space, and that allow is now what we call duplication. Because the library has that information. If anyone needs that information, they can get it at the library. However, the physical files are there. Those are required to have a less retention. Over the years, just before I came here, the retention that was there before was 2 years on those records. And I keep with those. So it is kept in the different parishes and units for 1 year. The registry keeps it for 1 and then we dispose of it. As the information would have already captured in the
mark sheets.
The mark sheets and the application forms as well. Yes. However, for things like festival song, other than that, what is kept, the plan is to scan the song lyrics. So in case we need in the future, just as when we were celebrating Jamaica 55 and we said no festival song, we wanted to a compilation of all those songs. We want to scan the winning entries, or the top 10 entries, and the winning entries. Top 10 entries, so for anything in the future, those information can be captured. So the project is between the end of April to early May, and is that we're going to go through the system that I have and take out all those mark sheets, all those applications, because they are there from, I wouldn't say the 70s, 80s. Application and mark sheets from the 80s that have never been disposed of. And to be honest, about 40% of the records that we have are application and mark sheets. Conducting the record survey in the parishes, that's another thing that we found. You have cabinets filled with mark sheets and entry forms. So the project is to dispose of those up to 2015.
Who is the we? You said we will go through the files.
The planning for that, the proposal for that project is to get individuals from National Youth Service, at least 4 individuals. Yes. And it won't interrupt the busy season with any other departments, it's just with me.
Okay.
Me, Miss Simi, Miss Hastin, that will guide that project. And the parish offices, those that I have visited, I advise them already they can start packing up their set, and then we will arrange for transportation to pick up and get those so they can make space in their offices.
Okay.
So up until it was 2015? 14, yes. And then next year again, since we have the go ahead with that, we will dispose of 15. So each year effective, yes, every year we have a disposal until we get the approval to dispose of the other records that we have. As we really have a lot of those, taking up a lot of space. Yes. And just also we had the project for the container that was 2016 that one was something when we had the other person to help with the organization and those files in the 15 or 16. 15
Or you started before?
No, man, 15.
When I came, I came
before.
15. I came here 15.
14.
So you started before?
You
I was
already
it was in
that.
the summer.
14.
No, you told me 14.
15 just gone. Those children wasn't here.
Yeah,
No, it's 15. It's
When I
15.
just
I came here in 14.
They came.
The end of 14. So it's
15 now?
Mhm.
15 at this point.
No, that was
When did
3
you
years
tell?
ago.
15.
It's not 15. But it's okay.
I
14 or
way
15.
back. The last project we had.
14, so it will be 14.
Whichever one is fine.
14.
So when we had that project, it went for I think about it took 3 months. So I figured this one maybe go up until maybe I think time period for 2, depending on because we have to go through all those files and make space for those in the parish offices and different departments so we can accommodate them because space is what is the main issue now. And we need, yes, and we need to fix that. So I won't say that I'm proud about this document, but I think this document we have here for approval will do all that. Because outside of the mark sheets and the applications, this allows to dispose of other documents. And there are other documents, memos and letters is one of them. We have
And then they're full of duplication.
yes,
The final say the same thing I don't do.
yes.
On one file. When so one same something 100 and one file. No, so
Yeah.
curious.
And it's related to duplication. There's a lot of persons who contribute to that. Because somebody sent something and they want a copy of it, this person wants it, and each individual file that one document. Yes. So there's a lot of duplication.
That is so true.
Alright, so the issue of invoices,
So that's
accounts,
for you. Let me get. So that is why you have a retention schedule, because then you remove those unnecessary things after a short. Maybe some of those have a short period, like you keep it just 15 months or
Yes.
2 years, and you remove everything. You understand?
So just
No man, so you will clear up the thing.
Consider you find one file with 10 of the same something. Why would you
copy
copy
for one
Ten.
department.
Yes. One person
So, for example,
going through a
yes.
file and you keep seeing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over.
Well, maybe that person is
They're
not
crazy.
understanding how to do the filing. Because if I write a letter and down the bottom it says copy to 5 persons, only one letter should be on my file, not a copy of each of the 5 persons. So, right, mister? So, I guess the training, when you train them, that will show. So, you should not see more than one copy of that letter on that person's file. But you may go to somebody else's file and see the same letter.
Which is another.
Which they copy again.
No, man,
Yeah,
which was their copy.
I write you a letter, right?
Yes.
I copy the letter, right? You get the letter. And then you have all 3 copies of that same letter and
Why?
I don't know. I
Yes,
see
it does happen. It does happen. So if even there was one change on the document, if for example a draft was sent out and then the original came out,
Oh, but like that.
So you should discard drafts, right? Only the
some
final
drafts are
copy.
not supposed to be filed.
Yeah,
Only the final
they're not
copy
to
is
be
there.
filed. So you see, that's why I said the training
Yes, yes.
with the
That's a
records
recommendation.
person is definitely the important.
Just to say that we had plans for this year for a training, but I think there was a little bit of error in regards to that. But
You will get it
effective once,
coming.
yes, and
You feel cold?
once this document is approved,
I feel nice.
it will. And I've spoken to Mrs. Thomas from John, and she said just send it to her. But before I send it to her,
We have to discuss it, and
and
that's
it
what
was
we're
ready
doing now.
from January. It was ready from January, but it's just a meeting for us.
Right.
As we're a committee, so we have our
Yes.
input into it.
And I love
Yes.
that. I agree.
And once that is shared, the entire commission will be shared with the entire commission, and then so persons can't
Each
say.
office will have a copy.
Yes, that's one. And when the records audits are being done, that this is where now there's no leeway to say that the number is not.
No.
Yes. Because at the last time we'll have to ask persons to make the request to the registry. And to be honest with myself, sometimes they send it, and I may send them half of it and don't remember to send another half. Then instead of keep sending it to person making the request, the entire thing is complete, send it to everyone so persons know what is it that they are supposed to do.
Right, another thing I'm going to recommend with that, you see, because sometimes files are large and they may get it. They might accept that they get it, but they don't ever look at it. Something as significant and important to the records manager, I would think you need to provide them with the hard copy. So each office, as I know my parishes, right, gets a copy, records manager has it, or the records officer has it, and they can consult it at will.
Yes.
Than to say it was sent, they can open it, they can this, they don't have ink to print it, they, you know, all the different issues that may come up, and then they don't consult the thing as they regularly should. So I would recommend that when it's ready, we make copies, and each parish, each department gets one for the records person. In the case of head office, you may the administrator. I'm not sure who does the filing.
The administrator.
Right here. So it wouldn't be. So it would be each unit or something like that that gets it up here. And the library always get a copy of whatever you produce. Right?
Yes.
We try to do the same with accounts. When certain things come out, we make sure it's printed and given to them, because a lot of time you get people say they don't have ink, they don't have this, don't have that, and it sits there, and then sometimes they don't even remember how to save it, so you can't even find it back. You know, things like that, and they may be asking for it again and again.
And what it does also allow any new persons, because just to move into as it relates to the record survey, which I have not spoken. Persons, the trend is that I came and I saw them. And they who came did not, because they saw something, they left it there and started their new system and did not take the time to review what was there, what was the strength, start something new. And they are not troubling those, because you left them there, I came and saw them. Why should I come and do your work? I figure that's what they are saying. So from the audit, this document now will allow the trend to continue. So whosoever comes and take office can just review this document, and it will guide them as to how things to be done.
Yes, and it also helps so we don't have the creation. The same thing, the person before, the person that come and build another file and the same thing, and the next person come and build the next file and then have
should be a
series of the same thing. And bulk up and waste of paper and
it's it's how people are oriented and realizing that into their jobs and all of that too.
One other thing, Mrs. Vernon, this document also, section B, that speaks about the classification. Unless the individuals from the parishes or the different units indicate to me the name of a file that they want to create, which is not listed among those, it cannot be created. Because this captures the name of all the files that are supposed to be in.
And JC,
yes, all the files. So if that file, the filing is not among these, because I went through, couldn't print up to this parish section with their
unique things that they may have, and you've included them.
Yes, all
so let me give you an example. So in Westmoreland, that does Westmoreland Prince and Princess, they would have to have a file on that.
Yes.
But no other parish
No
has
other,
that.
so they would have to indicate to me now
Okay.
that that file is not listed, because on the list of the files that are there are those that all the parishes
All
have.
right.
And
So do you have that one?
I don't
Oh, you
know
didn't print
mm-mm,
the
that section.
But I get what you're saying,
Yes.
right?
So-
And the same thing would have applied to Manchester, that does festival Prince and
I think I've
Princess.
seen that.
Yeah, man.
I think I've
The,
seen
the,
that.
the Miss Westmoreland Princess is over 15 years of doing that program. Yup. Time goes by so quickly.
I've never seen it.
No, it's not.
It's in the parish.
But I would have name on TV or something.
I know, because some persons, the naming of the file is one of the challenges that they have. They listed, for example, memorandum, naming a file, memorandum.
That file would
But
be.
not.
Let you just name it as it says, Miss Westmoreland Festival Princess.
So the name of the file is
Or
here.
I don't know if they put it under projects.
Oh.
The
You
names
don't
of
have anything named projects.
Yes, we do.
They have anything named projects. I
But
don't
for the
know.
project, below the name of the project, you would specify the name of
of the project.
Yes.
Right. So is it, I don't know, maybe they have.
So Jason,
Yes, so on that, right.
Jason, the thing that you have, the classification thing, those are the broad headings, or those are what should be on the pillars?
Alright, for example, alright,
Title,
let's,
main subject heading.
this is what. Let me move from one of the, maybe into somewhere like one of the departments. So this is communication and public relation. So public relation matters. You have a memo, as you will that's a subject here now.
So that would be the main subject heading.
Yes.
Okay.
And then memo incoming or outgoing both have a different name. So you don't want the letters that you are sending out and those that are receiving that are
They come in
related
two different files.
two different files.
The incoming and the
So you
Yes.
don't stuck everything on one.
So media interview as well, that's a different file.
Wow.
Those that are speeches that are prepared for the EDR. Yes.
Wait, hold on.
So that's a title. I'm trying to
Yes, that's the
go
On
title.
here.
So
On it you just write public relations speeches.
that's the title.
Yes, that's the title. But the
What
number
is main subject
indicates
heading?
Whatever the number what is there.
the number indicates.
Okay.
Go back to the letters. I have a question. So for example, they write for sponsorship every year and they write to Grace, they write to TF. The letter that they write outgoing, you must put it in a different file from your incoming. Because if I'm writing to TF, I just put all my TF correspondence on one TF file.
Yeah, that is what you're supposed to do, but however, outside of that, there are some file letters that may not have a specific file, so that file capture those.
Records management meeting. Yes. So
What do you mean? So there's a
I think
general
that's
file that you
like
email?
for marketing.
Instead of having a miscellaneous file that captures everything, you have a file that speaks about memorandum. So if you had written only once to Mr. Chamberlain,
Okay.
that file, the outgoing file captures that. However, that only goes there. But if you had a file from Mr. Chamberlain, there's no need to put it in your
Yeah,
outgoing.
Did I put it in a Mr. Chamberlain file?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
Yes, so your
makes
incoming and
sense.
your outgoing to me is like some general
Yes.
stuff or so.
Yes.
But if you have an area that you're dealing with, everything would fall under that area.
Yes.
Yeah. Both the incoming
So
and
that would be
outgoing,
like
right?
in marketing, we get requests from other companies or stuff for sponsorship, for JCBC sponsorship.
That would go
So that
to
would come in
general.
incoming.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when
Yeah.
Mr. Davidson responds to
And
that,
student,
Yes.
that goes to the
outgoing.
outgoing.
Yes, but
But
if
if
it's
you
someone
have a
like,
sponsorship
But say
file,
it's like, yeah.
it's like for Excelsior now, you
you
don't
have
have
a
a file
file.
that's one of your
Excelsior.
main
So
sponsorship.
everything
Yeah.
in and out.
Oh, cool.
Correct.
Understood.
It's understood, yeah.
Yeah.
So you capture the name of all those files. Let me see that. Motor vehicle again.
You show the motor right up, please?
Yes, I will. At the training,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You
so the start and the date on the file is very important as well.
And when it closes.
Yes. When it open, when it closes, because what will happen if you only write the name of the file there and the number. Still, if I don't know what year file, I would have to go into the file to find out when was it that the file was created.
You see here, I learned something. Out here is when somebody borrows something from you. The listing that you have, there is a sheet that you have inside that shows the date that you get the things.
Yes.
And
that is what I want to utilize. And I've met with HR as well, spoke with Mr. Yuan during the time of when they request for the files from HR, that they should utilize that section of the page.
To give the people and show when they give it to refer to means what? The person who is getting it and the date they get it.
But we wouldn't though. Alright, let me tell you why. For example, we use a book to lend the file because what's happening is you might have a file and there are probably like 20 or 30 spaces on that. But if you're supposed to lend the file, if it's going to each member of our department uses the file internally and we're lending it out, what should happen is we write it out, but we'll write it in a book. Because if I'm processing vacation this week, and next week I'm processing tuition, next week I'm processing just a job letter. If I borrow the file 10 times within a month, you utilize the 10 spaces and I'm one person. So the spaces would run quickly. And once it is out, then we have to start a new file. So we don't, in HR, we know that that's what it is for, but we don't necessarily use a book because then you can go through a book and you have lots of spaces, plus audit borrows the file. No man, if we were to utilize that, we'd finish too many files.
No, let me tell you. In different ministry, and this was one of the things that came out within my training at Mind from the jar specialist, is that even though the number of spaces are there, the purpose of the book is to guide you who is the current employee at the time to say who you loan your file to. 50 years down the line, when you retire and that file is there, it can tell the other persons who was it that was in contact with this file at the time. However,
so you must use this till it finished.
When it is finished,
what you should do
one
and add to
it.
I think that's
and if
what
you go into jar, you go
we need a template. Well, we need a template.
And some persons we are allowed to copy it.
Oh.
Copy this.
And then will we keep that on the inside?
Yes.
Okay.
So it is left there to say. So within the department,
really
other than from
even
outside of the Mrs. Vernon and for example her assistant, in that case, it is fine for them. But you moving into different area, if I should lend to Miss Simit something, even though she's my supervisor, just to let persons who come after know who run it. Yes. And the minute sheet, I don't know why some persons don't see it fit, but it is very important to minute a file. And until JC,
what does mean now?
The item sheet.
So each thing
when
you add to a file.
The one that I said that is inside, that each time that you add something, you list what you add. Yes, I
and something happened in JCDC, persons will know the
I know, that is usually for everything in life. Unfortunately.
Because if I give something to HR and they will write it there, and for example, some malicious person saw the file and removed the document, there's only one way I can Ms. Forbes can say, yes, it was on the file, the minute sheet will show that it was there, and the date it was added to it. Persons think it's a very hard thing to do, but I don't. The moment you make the file,
that's the thing. Sometimes it's easier for you to just punch the paper, put it in,
and write it
and say, alright, Mrs. Vernon, sometimes I agree, but sometimes
I know
on a busy day.
Well, that is why you see how people now not working smart. Look at it now. That is why, I really wonder. So we're busy, we get to go do many other things in a day and so on. That is why persons have the opportunity to say to their supervisor,
can I spend 1 hour after work today to complete
Okay.
my filing? People are not understanding how to use, I don't know how you would say it now, maximize and the time that we say you give people.
Okay.
You understand? Because and then that is how you record, and that's why we must say when we're leaving. We must put when we leave work too. We tend to just run out, and we may have been here till 6 o'clock or whatever finish. You wouldn't do that every day, but I'm saying you are responsible for your file. You realize we've been, especially when it comes to busy time, we are all delegated to work in different things and you're gone. So you don't really get to look at the file until, so whichever time that is, I believe you say to the supervisor and you plan it, I need to stay back an hour and a half or 2 hours after work today, and you go through and you finish up. And remember that is record. That is also a part of special allowance.
It is.
You see that because you're working. But it must be justifiable.
Yes.
You know, the supervisor must know that. It's not that they just sat out the whole day and then know to make up. You see why some people used to quarrel over special allowance? Because it must be justified. And if the supervisor know that you were there the whole day and never really see you, never give you no work, and then you're going to come and say you need another hour and a half. I'm going to ask you, what did you do today? Because if I didn't give you work and I know you do have certain things to do, when you're there you're supposed to be. You know, so it's a whole heap of, it's just managing what you're doing, your time and your everything.
So,
and I know there are people who work and don't ask for time. You understand? So you have those set of people.
So internally, within the department, if somebody borrows a file, they should...
Other than Mr. Davidson to you, anyone else?
That's another department.
Not only department, but within your
So
department.
Michelle, alright, say I have a sponsorship file and they use it. So each time they... Because the way the system
you can do
set
that
up,
for the day, you know. So it's not that she came to you, but right now came back 5 times.
but the way it is
now,
now, but the way it is now, the cabinet is in that section and I'm outside.
Oh.
So
they just take it and
right,
use
they
it.
would just take a file.
So you wouldn't even know.
Right.
It's not only for the minuting is not only for security purpose, but also easy access to information. Just as how the festival sounds came, it was 221. 221 of them. And yes, persons came from time to time to make changes to their application, change the CD, the song lyrics because an error was on it. What I did was to file each of them in a different folder. So when individuals come, instead of going through, I don't need to go through all 20 to find that one application. I have a list which is a minute sheet that is inside each folder and see where on it. I just ask the person, when did you make the submission? The date will tell me because this one will say all applications from January 1 to February 1. So it would have been easy access to information and it put ease on us.
Wow. Everybody has their rolling money. Oh my God.
That's what I did. So while they're doing the auditions now, there's no much of a fight to find each application. They just roll through and indicate what is it that they're doing.
So now that they're assessing, when they came to you, somebody had to sign to take them?
Yes, I signed. No, what I did was to transfer. I created that file, so I transferred that file to that department and they signed for it.
Okay.
So it's their file. I transferred the file, so it's now their file. But they didn't, because I did the minuting of those numbers, they did not have to do that again.
Them lucky, man.
So they got an entire file.
But for real though, sometimes people hear about filing and you think about just literally putting paper into a folder. But there's so much more to this. thing.
Yeah.
So Jason, please look into the training thing.
Yes,
because
ma'am.
it's serious.
We have had one before with all the regions. Yes, we had one before that. So, but this
What
year,
head office too
yes.
we need to do?
We did with head office before.
Right.
So we're going to go
A
again.
staff development session is not saying that that is what you did, as in that
You're
was the
meaning
session
that
you did,
it
but I'm
must be a
saying, yeah,
training.
staff development
Organized.
is something.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's 1 hour. You put it
Yeah.
over 1 hour. I'm talking about 1 hour. We only have 8 minutes to go.
I think you have covered the agenda. Anything you want to
This
say?
you did talk about the audit,
Yes.
the
Oh.
2017-2018 records.
Yes, so we have completed that audit and the reports are ready, and from the last audit, the 16-17 audit, there's not much of a change to what we have seen before. However, there are commendations to some parishes, for example, Portland, and also Miss Williams here. She had improved a lot.
Okay.
And I must commend her. She's one of the individuals who will be called and say, how is this done? Other than doing something on her own. And if you can check her files, they are well prepared. She created all her what we know, 17, 18?
Yes,
you finished with
17,
18. Oh, all her files, but the file numbers are missing, but you can write them on prior to this document. But the reports should be ready in short period, but it won't happen after March. The report, they are ready. I'm just reviewing them to ensure that I give individuals clear scores according to their work.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
So St. Catherine, St. Thomas, I received their reports already. Yes.
And I think I remember St. Elizabeth saying
Yes.
here. And you did a rim retention project for storage.
Yes, we spoke about that.
Alright. We've been doing a lot of questioning, but do we have any more questions? Any suggestions?
That's for training.
I have one suggestion. When we're planning our first meeting for the new financial year, please make sure we have even a glass of water. A bottle, I should say. Sounds fair enough?
Yes.
Organize so even a bottle of water. So that means you must request it from hospitality or wherever. Well, we don't have no money in records. And you did a rim retention project for storage.
Yes, we spoke about that.
Alright. We've been doing a lot of questioning, but do we have any more questions? Any suggestions?
That's for training.
I have one suggestion. When we're planning our first meeting for the new financial year, please make sure we have even a glass of water. A bottle, I should say. Sounds fair enough?
Yes.
Organize so even a bottle of water. So that means you must request it from hospitality or wherever. Well, we don't have no money in records. I don't know if we don't have money. Well, I think it falls under general administration, but a drink of water. Usually you do sandwiches and those things when you're going to lunchtime, and you know, or a coffee break or something. But you're right. Maybe it could be a little coffee break where we get something where tea can be made and we can bring if we don't have money. Well, I think it falls under general administration, but a drink of water. Usually you do sandwiches and those things when you're going to lunchtime, and you know, or a coffee break or something. But you're right. Maybe it could be a little coffee break where we get something where tea can be made, and we can bring we don't have to ask them for it. We can bring a pack of crackers.
Yes.
and a bit of cheese, you know, when we know we plan ahead for it. All right.
Just to add, Mr. Brown had pointed out to me that we are due for a possible readjustment of the committee, so that is something that we may have some adjustment
For it, we can bring a pack of crackers.
Yes.
and a bit of cheese, you know, when we know we plan ahead for it. All right.
Just to add, Mr. Brown had pointed out to me that we are due for a possible readjustment of the committee, so that is something that we may have some adjustment being made for the upcoming financial year. But you'll know more as we
A review of or what?
the committee,
Yeah.
the structure, the members.
For a review.
Yes.
Or adjustment. So like yes, because I think Mr. Brown, who was over drama, is no longer in the commission.
Yes.
And he was on, I think,
I
was
think
he?
all the committees are due for review.
Yes.
Because each committee is slated to serve 2 years and it
Okay,
belongs to
and
pass.
we've lost-
I'm on quite a few committees and it belongs to pass 2 years.
Alright.
Also,
You
this
release
month
the
last
phone, the
October.
whole list.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can email it to me.
No, I have it in a hard copy.
It's a hard copy.
Yes.
Right.
You have the
And it would need to
have the-
change. Right, for example, I was on the committee as a records officer or pension and information officer for HR, which is a more vital role in terms of records management. So now I would switch out and Mr. Ricketts would be there as the records
Yes.
person and things like that.
Right,
So, yeah, and for the other parishes where person moved, Miss, like, I think Simone would have been the one on the committee.
Oh,
at the time, it's
time.
now Mr. Henry, so things
Right.
like that, where positions change and persons move and such on. So on and so
Of
forth.
membership.
So after the TOR, we can do our
Yes, I think so.
selection.
You know. So what you say we must
I don't think
give
it's
you
us.
a
I think it's
feedback
us
or
that do the
just
selection.
It's a
me?
feedback.
Feedback on what you'll be getting, the TOR, the classification, the retention,
And then we just give you a feedback
on
Yes.
all.
and to say whether we think it's okay or if we want to suggest it or adjustment. And then you will do the final
Yes.
submission, alright? Alright, this is something at the back about authorization and date. Would that be the chair or,
Cheer.
right? So,
It's supposed to be two
so after
signatures.
we finish and get all the feedback, but you should give a deadline for the feedback.
Yes. What?
By next
I'm gonna
week,
send but
when you send these again,
no, I did just before the meeting. I don't know if it's
no, I
there.
tell you, it's
Still not there, so
No.
it will be
Another
one
reason.
submission, then you
Yes.
just include that.
Yes, and then you say,
2 weeks should be sufficient?
Yes.
okay,
So,
no
Because
problem.
Miss Thomas from George, she's working along with me.
Right.
Yes, and I don't think it will cost any much of a cost for her to give a review and approval.
When she gets it, we want it to be ready for April. That's why I
Yes.
was, when you said 2 weeks would take
so
us
still be in time.
within, yeah. Because today is the 9th, 2 weeks would mean the 23rd. By Friday the 23rd, everybody give their response, and so we can tie off and get it out. Sounds fair. All right. There being no other questions, suggestions, matter to discuss, may I have someone move for the adjournment of the meeting? That is Ms. Austin, seconded by Mr. Brown. I thank you all for coming, for participating so well, and we look forward to the new financial year. And I hope you will all want to still be on this committee. All right? Because we will look at the review of the committee and send out to say I'm gonna ensure that Mr. Hill,
Yes.
because Mr. Hill said it was not brought to his attention that we had all of these committees and who made them up. Yes, because I was speaking to him about gender focal
Yes.
group and so on, and he was saying, no, we never knew we had all of these. He thought it was just the board and like the board committees, you know, that they have. So I wanted to share with him the information, and then know, as you said, these committees have been more than 2 years now. So we
They
can have
retired
a session.
last year. So we are 1 year, going into a second year. The year when Mr. Gordon died was the year when yes, for them to review.
To review.
Yes.
So we are now 1 year late.
Yes.
That's what we are saying. So it's a good time. So what we can do is we go back through those, and I don't remember how we had done it. I think we had a recommendation and all the things, and we presented it. And so, yes, I think that's what we had done. So we can probably use an SDS session after we've gone through the listing and make the presentation of who fits where. And I think we try to place people. I think that is what was
that's what
done.
was around.
Yeah.
According to their function.
Functions. You know, we looked at all the committees and they place people according to how we believe you will be able to contribute. And as you said, the function of some, by nature, these people belong to this, the records and so on. Alright?
It was that at least each member staff should be at least one on one committee.
Yes, at least. And no more than 3.
Yes.
We don't want to overdo it. Alright, God bless. Have a good day. Rest of the day. Watch the Please tell Mr. Goodbye, those who are watching. Bye. See you another time. Technology at work.
Yes. Watch your step, Miss Simit, with your step.
Yes, when you're coming out, we have some urgent something out to do. Oh, every day there is something urgent. Oh,
Isn't that the truth?
oh.
Every single day.
Yeah, I see that the way you have to do it. There's something, I'm going to call back someone and I needed to ask him something else. Yes, Mr. Manahan, alright, 2 other quick things. Alright, so your monthly financial reports, they go to the regional manager and then the regional manager sends it to us, or it is checked and sent back to you guys and you send it in. That's the monthly financial reports. Right. Alright. Because she would check through, and only if she have any question or so she might send it back to you, then it is sent to us. Alright, because I need to follow up with her if we have gotten those, because it would have been due the 5th, which was Monday. So Miss Rogers, I need to know if Miss Rogers had sent it off to her. Check with her for me. Monthly financial, so you do your income and your expenditure. Alright, because there was another request for us to get the expenses report. Remember that? Some people, when we put back the request and so on, because Mr. Hutchinson was saying he didn't get any, some people explained to me that like for December and January, they never had any expenditure. They didn't spend any money. So I say you cannot not respond. You need to tell us that. You need to send a mail saying there are no expenses for December. There are no expenses for January, whatever the case may be. Because you not sending the mail, he cannot know whether or not is, you know, him not know if I late the report late, that kind of thing, right? So for that, I need a response. So we need to know. We were saying a number of persons had not submitted their expenses report, which is a special template he had sent where you detail the expenditure. Yeah, man, the purpose and all that. So just like how you would write it up, if you're doing a budget, the expenditure, you would say who the person, what you did do it for, and the amount. So I need to know right now from Ms. Rogers if those reports have been submitted from December.
Because remember that the two checks are showing up on the other check.
Year, but you know more as we
A review of or what?
the committee
Yeah.
structure, the members.
For a review.
Yes.
Or adjustment. So like yes, because I think Mr. Brown, who was over drama, is no longer in the commission.
Yes.
And he was on, I think,
I
was
think
he?
all the committees are due for review.
Yes.
But each committee is slated to serve 2 years and it
Okay,
belongs to
and
pass.
we've lost
I'm on quite
Oh.
a few committees and it belongs to pass 2 years.
Alright.
Oh,
You
so
remember
this
you said
month
you
last
found the
October.
whole list?
Yes.
You can email it to me.
No, I have it in a hard copy.
It's a hard copy.
Yes. You have the
I would need
oh,
to
you have the-
check. Right, for example, I was on the committee as a records officer or pension and information officer for HR, which is a more vital role in terms of records management. So now I would switch out and Mr. Ricketts would be there as the records person, so things like that. So, yeah, and for the other parishes where person moved, Miss, like, I think Simone would have been the one on the committee. At the time, it's now Mr. Henry, so things like that, where positions change and persons move and such on. So on and so
Of
forth.
membership.
So after the TOR, we can do our
Yes, I think so.
selection.
You know. So what you say we must
I don't think
give
it's
you
us.
a feedback or just
It's
me?
a feedback.
Feedback on what you be getting, the TOR, the classification, the retention,
And then we just give you a feedback
on
Yes.
all.
and to see whether we think it's okay or if we want to suggest it or adjustment. And then you will do the final
Yes.
submission, alright? Alright, this is something at the back about authorization and date. Would that be the chair or,
Cheer.
right? So,
It's supposed to be two
so after
signatures.
we finish and get all the feedback, but you should give a deadline for the feedback.
Yes. What?
By next
I'm gonna
week?
send a but
When you send these again?
no, I just did just before the meeting. I don't know if it's
No, I tell you, it's
Still not there, so
No.
it will be
Another
one
reason.
submission, then you
Yes.
just include that.
Yes, and then you say.
2 weeks should be sufficient?
Yes. 2
Okay.
weeks.
No
Because
problem.
Miss Thomas from George, she's working along with me.
Right.
Yes, and I don't think it will cost any much of a fuss for her to give a review and approval.
When she gets it, we want it to be ready for April. That's why I
Yes.
was, when you said 2 weeks, 2 weeks would take
So
us
still be in time.
within, yeah. Yeah, because today is the 9th. 2 weeks would mean the 23rd. By Friday the 23rd, everybody give their response. And so we can tie off and get it out. Sounds fair. Alright. There being no other questions, suggestions, matter to discuss, may I have someone move for the adjournment of the meeting? That is Ms. Austin, seconded by Mr. Brown. I thank you all for coming, for participating so well, and we look forward to the new financial year. And I hope you will all want to still be on this committee. All right? because we will look at the review of committee and send out to say. I'm gonna ensure that Mr. Hill, because Mr. Hill said it was not brought to his attention that we had all of these committees and who made them up. Yes, because I was speaking to him about gender focus group and so on, and he was saying, no, we never knew we had all of these. He thought it was just the board and like the board committees, you know, that they have. So I wanted to share with him the information, and then know, as you said, these committees have been more than 2 years now. So we can have a session.
So we are 1 year, going into a second year. The year when Mr. Gordon died was the year when for them to review.
To review. Yes. So we are now 1 year late.
Yes.
That's what we are saying. So it's a good time. So what we can do is to go back through those, and I don't remember how we had done it. I think we had a recommendation and all the things, and we presented it. And so, yes, I think that's what we had done. So we can probably use an SDS session after we've gone through the listing and make the presentation of who fits where. And I think we try to place people. I think that is what was done. Yeah.
It's according to their
functions. You know, we looked at all the committees and they place people according to how we believe you would be able to contribute. And as I said, the function of some, by nature, these people belong to this, the records and so on. Alright?
It was that at least each member staff should be at least one on one committee.
Yes, at least. And no more than 3.
Yes.
We don't want to overdo it. Alright, God bless. Have a good day. Rest of the day. Watch the Please tell Mr. Goodbye, those who are watching. Bye. See you another time. Technology at work.
Yes. Watch your step. Let's see me put this.
Yes, when you're coming on, we have some urgent something else to do. Oh, every day there is something urgent. Oh,
Isn't that the truth?
oh.
Every single day.
Yeah, I see the way you have to do it. Yes, something. I'm going to call back someone. I needed to ask him something else. Yes, Mr. Manahan, alright, 2 other quick things. Alright, so your monthly financial reports, they go to the regional manager and then the regional manager sends it to us, or it is checked and sent back to you guys and you send it in. That's the monthly financial reports. Right. Alright. Because she would check through, and only if she have any question or so she might send it back to you, then it is sent to us. Alright, because I need to follow up with her if we have gotten those, because it would have been due the 5th, which was Monday. So Miss Rogers, I need to make Miss Rogers had sent it off to her. Check with her for me. Monthly financial, where you do your income and your expenditure. Alright, because there was another request for us to get the expenses report. Remember that? Some people, when we put back the request and so on, because Mr. Hutchinson was saying he didn't get any, some people explained to me that like for December and January, they never had any expenditure. They didn't spend any money. So I say you cannot not respond. You need to tell us that. You need to send a mail saying there are no expenses for December. there are no expenses for January, whatever the case may be. Because you not sending the mail, he cannot know whether or not is, you know, him not know if I late the report late, that kind of thing, right? So for that, I need a response. So we need to know, we were saying a number of persons had not submitted their expenses report, which is a special template he had sent where you detail the expenditure. Yeah man, the purpose and all that. So just like how you would write it up, if you're doing a budget, the expenditure you would say who the person, what you did do it from the amount. So I need to know right now from Ms. Rogers if those reports have been submitted from December.
Because remember that there two checks are showing up on the